Okay, I'm going back to the question that was above. Waitlist, VIP list, what's a good conversion rate? And if I'm not hitting that, how do I increase that? So waitlists are great for products and programs. Bridget has an incredible company called Gut Personal. I used all of their products. She's got everything from magnesium to like vitamins and literally everything in between. If you're still on, you can tell us what it is. So if you're talking about conversion for that company where you're talking about lower ticket products, that's going to be a little bit different than if you're talking about your coaching business, which I know you still coach people, and that's going to be more high touch point, higher ticket, relationship based. So those are going to be slightly different. I would say with a waitlist, the idea of a waitlist is great. And if not, what's the word? If you're not like utilizing it, I don't want to say right, but if you're not using it along the way, they're not pointless, but like they're not going to work. So the idea of a waitlist is to get someone to make a micro commitment and raise their hand or raise their virtual hand and tell you that they're interested in something that you have coming up, whether it's a product, a coaching program, or anything in between. So the great thing about a waitlist is that the first thing that you're doing is you're getting them to psychologically commit and say that they need the thing or that they want the thing or they're interested in the thing or they're looking for help on the particular transformation. And so that micro commitment psychologically is ultimately their first step towards transformation. Okay. Then where most people fall off, and I've done this far too many times, is they get people on their wait list and then it's kind of crickets. And then when you go to open the doors or you go to sell the product or whatever, you email them and you're like, it's here. And at that point, they either don't want it, don't need it, found it somewhere else, completely forgot about you and it, or they're just not even opening those emails anymore. So realize that when somebody joins your wait list, they're saying right then and there, I need help in this area right now. I'm interested in this transformation right now. I'm ready to start on this journey right now. So the most important thing that you do with a wait list, it's not even that you need to nurture them the entire time until it's time to sell them or offer their invitation. It's you need to get connected to them immediately. When someone signs up for a wait list, you want to immediately reach out to them. You want to congratulate them, edify them. And I don't mean like a personal DM. I mean on the wait list. So once they join your wait list, they should be put into a whole sequence of emails. And in those emails, you're saying like, that's amazing. You did it. High five. I'm so excited. I'm committed to helping you because you just said you're committed to helping yourself. And then you want to give them different things that are going to help them get closer to their transformation, closer to saying yes to your product or your program in the future. So what can you give them immediately? Here's a free training. Here's another resource. Here's a meditation. Here's a journal. Here's a playlist. Here's a quiz you can take. Hey, did you know that if you're feeling this way, this product might be best? Here's a coupon for this product. So rather than just sitting around and waiting for you to be selling the thing that you ultimately want to sell, it's how do you get them more wins and more transformations in the long run? Now, if done well, I don't want to say correctly, if done well, you're going to keep that person interested much longer. And you can even call it out. Hey, Bridget, you just joined this waitlist because you're interested in this particular product, which does this particular thing. It's most likely not going to be available until this particular date. In the meantime, have you tried this? I want you to think about this. Here's a thing for you here. Here's a gift for you there. Here's something else to get you closer to your journey. That's going to continue to help grow that know, like, and trust, build that rapport, and ultimately get the person closer to their transformation. If you can get them a win within the first 24 hours, they're going to trust you, they're going to be excited about the journey, and they're most likely going to come back and continue opening those emails. Now, we have our signature program, Empower. The doors shut back in April. We're not opening it again until the spring of 2024. So someone who joined the waitlist in April when the doors shut, they're literally waiting basically a year until we open the doors again. So how can I keep that excitement and that engagement up? How often do I need to reach out? What types of things am I giving them? That's a really big range. That's a really big gap of time. So I need to make sure that I am in their ear and I'm in their inbox probably like once a week, maybe once every other week, definitely at least once a month. I want to stay top of mind and I want to invite them to other things. So maybe I'm having, like I said, we've got something free coming up that I'm going to tell you about next week. So maybe I reach out to my wait list And I let them know about it in a different way, not just like a, hey, we're doing something and you might be interested, but because you put yourself on this list, it means you're interested in this particular thing. We've got some coming down the pipeline. I wanted to personally reach out. I wanted to invite you. I wanted to offer a bonus with it. I wanted to offer a discount, whatever that might be. So it's keeping them in top of mind, and it's making sure that you're reaching out. Now, when it comes to the conversion, there's going to be a lot of different things that come into play. So industry standard for conversion on a wait list would be about 10%, which is crazy. So 10% is not a lot. 10 to 20% would be on the high end. And I'm talking more for like higher ticket stuff. If you're talking about a lower ticket product, chances are that conversion is going to go higher. So it would probably be more in the 20, maybe even 30% range. But also you have to consider what's the length of time between them getting on the wait list and then that product being available. So if it was a product like magnesium, they get on the wait list, it's dropping next week, the chances of them buying are going to be much, much higher. Rather than they get on the wait list, they have to wait 6 months before the product comes out. That conversion is going to drop much, much, much lower because again, they found it elsewhere, they've moved on, they don't want it or need it anymore. So it's really important that you're sort of keeping that relationship going and growing and getting them wins and testimony, wins and moving them through transformation. Okay, I'm going to take this last question. Say, when is the right time to start building out your offer suite? Should I start with more than one offer from the beginning? Ooh, this is a good question. And I've got Jess opinions on it. So I am not a huge fan of a very robust offer suite. I never have been, and I don't know that I ever will be. Mostly because simple scales and fancy fails. The more complex you make it, the more complex it's going to be. And that's not like, oh, your audience is going to get confused and they're not going to know what to buy. If you make your business complex, if you make your model complex, if you make your offer suite complex, and then you try to hire people, you bring people on your team, you try to scale, you try to sell your company one day, you're just throwing more cogs in the wheel and you're making it more complicated, which means more balls can drop. That was like 10 analogies in one, right? So you really want to keep it simple. They say KISS, right? Keep it simple, silly. We don't say stupid here. Keep it simple, silly. So I'm a huge advocate for a small product suite. I always talk, I have a couple times today, about our signature offer, Empower. We do have other offers. We have our Elite Mastermind. We've got our middle tier program, Beyond Six Figures, and we have a handful of self-study products. But again, we've been in digital business for 11 years. So it's taken me 11 years to build out a more robust product suite. Empower is our bread and butter. Empower is our meat and potatoes. Empower is the majority of our revenue year after year. Empower literally has brought in $1 million in revenue in one business fiscal year, not counting any of the other stuff. That's not bringing in anything else. So based on our goals, there's like a, what else would I want to do or not do? I don't have to do anything else. And I don't say that to be like, oh, look at me. That's the model I want to create. I want to keep it simple and I want to keep doing it on repeat. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So what works, do more of that. A lot of you I know follow Alex Hormozian. He talks about it all the time. It's like the struggling coach and entrepreneur is the one who is constantly trying to put new pots on the stove. I don't know what that means, but do one thing and do it better. There's a reason why we've run 18 live rounds of Empower. There's a reason why every single round gets better. There's a reason why the pitch and the sale and all of that gets easier and our conversion goes up and now that we run ads, our cost of lead goes down. There's a reason why our earnings per lead goes up every single round. These are all really great metrics. That's what you want. There's a reason that our client results keep getting better and better and better, and that testimonials come flooding in and that word of mouth is happening naturally. It's because we keep doing the same thing and we just keep doing it over and over and over. So when you're starting out, I say start with one thing and figure it out. It's kind of like earning your right to go wide. People far too often, I see this in Empower all the time, a client will launch a product or a program and it won't do well. It won't do what they expected. It won't hit the numbers they wanted, or they'll have a silent launch, which means nobody will join. And instead of figuring out why nobody joined and then going and making it better, figuring out it was their messaging or it was their angle or they didn't have enough runway leading up to it or they had the wrong ideal client or they'd been using their social media account for a completely different niche for 10 years and then they quickly pivoted into this other niche and people aren't ready for it yet. Instead of figuring out why it didn't work, they decide to fully pivot and they scrap the offer, they throw away the product, they completely jump ship and change niches, and then they make the same stupid mistake again. And they put it out with poor messaging or not knowing their ideal client or not enough runway, and they literally keep making the same mistake over and over and over. And every time it doesn't work, they pivot and they keep pivoting. When the reality is you have to stay with the same thing. You have to give it ample time. You need to be a scientist in your business, and you need to take out the magnifying glass and start to look and see, why didn't it work? What dial do I need to turn? What lever do I need to pull? What formula do I need to mix together to make it work? Once you make it work and you figured it out, then you're at a fork in the road. You could do one of two things. You could pour gasoline on the fire of what is working, and you could just keep making it better and do it again and do it again and do it again. And remember that if you get bored, that doesn't matter. You can still be in alignment while you're bored. You can still run a successful business that you're not lit up at every moment of every day. Trust me, I know, I'm living proof. So is my mentor, and so are all of my peers. That's the difference between where I am and where you might be. It's because on the days that I'm bored and I feel like I want to throw my business out and throw the baby out with the bathwater, and I need to jump ship and I need to pivot because I have a new interest, I don't do that. I stick to the plan and I do the one thing and I do it really well and I keep making it better and better and better. And so I'm here today. This is how I got here today, is because I've kept doing the same thing over and over and over, despite those things. Because I'm telling you right now, you will get bored. You will have shiny object syndrome. You will compare yourself to other people. You will look at what everyone else is doing. When everyone's zigging, you want to zag, right? You're going to look at the trends and you're going to think that you need to do whatever's trending. No, you don't need to do whatever's trending. Not if you want a sustainable, scalable business. You need to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Nike, what's their meat and potatoes? Sneakers. Nike didn't start selling coffee when Starbucks blew up. Nike wasn't like, wait, hold on, coffee is the new thing, we got to sell coffee. No, Nike said, we're going to stick with this, we're going to stick with sneakers, and over time they've earned their right to go wide, and they've expanded to clothing and accessories. They've been around for decades before they expanded, and they stuck with the same niche and the same ideal client. Athletes, sports. That's what they do. And when you think about their brand, Just Do It, you think about taking action. You think about savages and beast mode and elite. That's what you think of. But just because something else came onto the scene and was doing well, they didn't jump ship, they didn't pivot. They do one thing and they do it really well and they make it better and better and better. And that's how they have the brand recognition that they do. Anyone in the world could see the check mark, the swoosh, and know what brand that is. That did not come from them pivoting over and over and over. That did not come from them coming out of the gate with 1,000 different products and a massive product suite. That came because they came out with sneakers, and they did that for decades before they expanded to anything else. And they kept consistent in their messaging, and they kept consistent in their brand, and they kept consistent in their promise of their product and in their ideal client. Consistent. They've never changed. Ever. They've grown with us and they've grown with technology, but they've never changed. They don't feel bad for being kind of expensive. That's their ideal client. They're not the brand that is for everybody. They're just not. They're also, I love them, they're not the most functional sneakers. Like, with all due respect, I'm not going to go to Nike when I need a really good CrossFit training shoe. I'm not. That's not the sneaker I'm going to go to. But if I want a good Dunk, if I want a good high top, if I want a good Nike Air, which I love all of those, if I want a good like fashion sneaker, a good walk around, that's my sneaker. That's where I'm going. And we all agree, because there are sneakerheads. There are literally people flipping Nikes for thousands of dollars. It's insane. So my opinion is, do one thing and do it really well. Start with one product in your offering. When you get that product locked in, you are a fork in the road. You could keep doing it and do it better and do it better and do it better. Or you can decide, now that I've figured it out, I'm going to take what I know and I'm going to implement that into a second product. And I'm going to do both of those products really, really well. And then maybe after a year or 2 or 3, you do it again and now you have a third product and you do it really, really well. And so on the outside, I understand, yes, if you have a very large product suite and you have different price points and stuff, conceptually, could you have more success? Like, because you have more opportunities for people to work with you and you have different price points, I conceptually understand that, but I wholeheartedly disagree with it. I do. In fact, I'll tell you one last thing. Our lowest ticket item was multiple thousands of dollars, right? The lowest item that you could work with me was actually $5,000. That was for many, many years. And whenever we would try to sell a masterclass, like a $200 masterclass or a $400 self-study program, it would be crickets. My audience didn't want that from me. That's not what they were sort of used to or trained. Again, it's the same thing as Hermes and Gucci and Fendi and Prada. And I'm not saying I'm one of those brands, but those luxury brands, that is for a particular client. And when you go in there, you're going to be spending thousands of dollars. They don't have $40 purses. And if you want a $40 purse, that's not where you're going to go. You're going to go to a different brand. And that might be two completely different people with different core values, with different perspective on what's important to them. But that's the point. Those brands don't waver. Those brands don't feel bad if someone can't afford it or if someone thinks it's too expensive. That's not their client. They do what they do and they stay in their lane. Right? So to answer the question, my personal opinion is no, I think you should start with one product, one offer, and you figure it out, lock in the messaging, get client results, sell your launches out, get comfortable with it, be able to talk about it in your sleep, have so much content around this one thing that you could take 6 months of the year off and someone else could just be repurposing your content because you have so much content. Stick a flag in the sand, let people know how you feel. Tell people what you stand for, who you stand for, what you don't stand for, who you don't stand for. Build your brand up and your rapport and your reputation up so that people are telling other people about it and they're doing it for you. Make that product so good that other people talk about it, and that's the marketing. Make the product so good that people get results and they're sending you testimonials without you asking for it. For me, that's the type of business I want to run because that allows me to step away from the business and the business still to be running. If I had an arsenal of products and offers in my suite, my team might get confused. Somebody might drop the ball. We might forget to send a payment link. We might forget to reach back out to somebody. We're not stupid. We're just human. And so with one product and one main signature offer, all roads lead back to that. People know us for Empower. They do. I have a small following and a small email list relative to the size of my business and how long I've been doing this and a lot of my peers, but people know about it. People DM me and ask me, when's the next round of Empower opening? I want to join Empower. Empower's been on my vision board for 4 years. Like, this is truly what people are saying. So for me, I would way rather have a business model like that than someone coming to my page like, okay, I'm not sure which to start. I'm a little overwhelmed. Do I start here? Do I start here? Well, that one's the cheapest. Maybe I'll just buy that one, even though that's not really the transformation that I want. I really want the transformation for this product over here, but I'm not ready for a live coaching program right now because life is crazy. So now I'm kind of stuck, right? Okay, I have to pop off. I'm going to pop off. We've got a busy, fun day. Yes, Marie, I'm home with my parents. I'm at my parents' house and they have our like college mugs. How cute are they, right? So cute. My parents' house. Yes. Okay. Have a wonderful Tuesday. And like I always say, cheers to your evolution. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you loved this episode, I invite you to be a part of our ripple effect and share it with a friend. And please, if you feel called, take 30 seconds to leave a 5-star review and I'll be forever grateful. Until next time, cheers to your evolution.